see on tape now?
A lot of good things. Really, you get a chance to take a step back and look at the game for what it was, and you realize and recognize, the things that we did were some really, really good things. I mean, defensively, being able to hold the league's #1 offense, 303 yards, I thought was pretty doggone good. A lot of good things that they had. Some opportunities to get off the field, and I'd like to see us do that, but you got to give them credit because they are an explosive team, very dynamic, a lot of quality football players. What we did offensively, again, a lot of good players on that side of the ball for them. We had some good things happen early on. We made some plays. I think with what coach wanted to do, Norv kept them off balance, and I thought the execution was pretty good. So, like I said, there were a lot of good things and some things that we feel good about, but some things that we got to correct.
How is this Monday different than Monday when you have a Sunday game?
Getting in early, just like typical for all of us as coaches, but having to get through the game tape as quickly as possible and try to find the mistakes, get those things ready to be corrected when we get a chance to see our guys. But getting on to Pittsburgh right now, having a chance to watch them on tape a little bit, knowing that we're trying to formulate a game plan and get ready for our meeting with the players at 2.
Obviously, you want to enjoy the last couple of games as productive as they've been and focus just on what's ahead of you. But the magnitude of this upcoming stretch on the road, 4 or 5 games on the road, have you guys considered that or discussed that at all as coaches?
To a degree. I mean, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we do know, it's coming. But the biggest thing, obviously, is try and get off on a good start on this road trips that are coming up. We got a very formidable opponent. It's a Thursday night game. It's in Pittsburgh. But at the same time, we are playing well right now. We've built on a lot of things that we've done. I do like the direction we are headed as a football team.
Does starting this kind of stretch here with this short turnaround week and in such a primetime game add a challenge to the stretch?
It does, obviously because of the things that could be potential distractions. I mean, being a short week, being a Thursday night game, there's going to be a lot of national attention. But we've got to be able to kind of handle that situation and really just stay focused on who we're getting ready to play.
If you had to travel in a short week, I guess there were worse flights.
Absolutely.
And that's sort of been you guys' travel schedule all year the way it turned out. Absolutely.
Well, we know this, the furthest west we go is Louisiana, so, we feel good about that. And this being a short trip, we also feel positive. So, it bodes well. We played at home, as opposed to years in the past when we played in LA and then had to play a Thursday night game. So this is one of those things I think that is beneficial. We played at home. It's easier on the coaches, I can tell you that much, because they're able to get an opportunity to watch some of the tape last night and then finish up this morning, and just feel like we're in a good spot as far as going forward.
When it comes to a short week, do you find yourself focusing that much more on yourself versus your opponent?
Very much so. And what you try to do, what you want to do is you want to be able to take elements that were carried over and, things that you've done in the last few weeks and just kind of hone those things up, sharpen them up, and get them ready to play with.
How would you assess the first half of the season for you guys?
Good. I think it could have been better, but I think the first half was a little bit kind of feeling our way, with 3 new coordinators, several new players, and several key spots, i.e. the offensive line, our safety position, getting Eric having him come in at the after the 3rd game. It's been a little bit of a growing pains for us in those respects. I think we're still kind of feeling our way out to a degree, but I do feel we're getting more and more comfortable with each other on the field.
To that point, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, both young kids, is this kind of them just kind of learning how to play in the NFL and seeing this is
very much so, because you see some of the mistakes that they make. We see it on tape. We see certain things in terms of their route running, their alignments, their assignments. We had a couple mental errors, but again, these are young guys that we're putting into pretty big positions. We got some veteran guys that have the savvy, that understand it, that have that they're out there, that hopefully these guys are learning from. I mean, when you watch what Jarius means to us and what Devin has done, those young guys can learn from watching those guys and the way they do things. So that's been a really good thing for us.
They haven't peaked yet, but what's it like just literally watching them grow up? I mean, within 6 games, so quickly.
Well, it's cool because you know one thing, and that is that they're learning and growing, and that their ceiling is high. So the potential for them to be better is exciting, and hopefully we can continue to watch them grow and in the next few weeks and grow up quickly because we do have a tough stretch, and then later on it gets even better just by the way the season ends for us.
Having those two on the field, TJ and Samuel, what does it allow you to do offensively? I mean, it seems like it opens up so many.
Well, it
options.
does, but again, let's don't forget the contributions that that guys, like Greg Olson and Devin Funches have, and again, what it means to have Christian out there as well, or when we go to the two running back sets, when we got, you put both CJ and Christian back there, then you move Christian out, but yet you don't lose a lot with CJ because he's a good inside runner, he's a slasher, he makes good cuts. So we have a group of guys that are all contributing together. And we just happen to put two young guys out there that have a different skill set from the other ones, and it just adds another dimension. So, to think it's all about those two, I think would be crazy because of the potential when you have a different combination of guys. I mean, you sit there and look at when we get Torrey back with that speed. Well, now you're going to sit there and say, well, what's that going to do? Well, you got those quick guys working underneath, and Torrey goes vertical, and let's say a corner bites on one of those underneath, Torrey's wide open. So there's a lot of things that can happen when you've got those kind of players on the field.
Nora's getting a lot of credit right now, but Ryan Khalil made an interesting point yesterday that a lot of it's on Cam too, making these decisions. So what are Cam's responsibilities for some of these misdirection plays once he gets the call?
Well, it's not just that, but again, there are a lot of things that go on, and I think Ryan was not just talking about the misdirection plays, but I think overall, in general, you look at the ball distribution. Whose hands is he putting the ball in? As far as throwing the ball, or deciding to hand it off, or to pull it and run the naked or run the zone read. So there's a lot of decision making that he has that's important pre-snap as well. So again, it really is credit to what coach is doing, and again credit to the quarterback for decision making he's had. I think that speaks very well to his continued growth in this offense.
On Norv, there are some people who kind of characterizing this as him reinventing himself with you guys. Do you think that's a fair characterization of what he's doing, or is this kind of what you expected from him ever since he got here?
Well, I was fortunate enough that I worked for him in San Diego, so I got to see it firsthand and see, his brilliance as a play caller and a play designer. I think he's doing exactly what I hope he was going to do for us. He's been outstanding. He's been great for me personally and in my continued growth as a head coach. He's somebody I can lean on and talk to. Sometimes he comes in and will make a suggestion, and other times I'll go and ask him. So that's been one of the benefits of having a guy who's done it for as long as he has, and he's been tremendous. He really has, and I think it's just helping us as a football team.
Along the lines of minimizing the distractions during this short week, you always seem so even-keeled. Do you ever look at and see how the team feeds off you, how they're kind of a reflection of you?
I do to a degree. I mean, most of the times I've felt it is when, I've lost my composure, and that's disappointing. I mean, and I talked about earlier this year, we go to Atlanta and, I get into, some shouting matches with the referees, and it does affect the players. It does. What you guys don't see is I go into my locker room, close the door, and I start screaming. No, but it is, and I appreciate that because I do try to make sure, and my father gave me the advice about staying even-keeled because when things are all going crazy, everybody's looking for you for direction. So I've tried to maintain that. And the times I haven't, i.e. in 2013 in the playoff loss to the 49ers, it showed. So that's pretty much why I try to keep my emotions in check. Because again, we also have to move on to the next play, to the next series or whatever it is.
The pass rush kind of found itself yesterday. Tampa Bay had to throw a lot, obviously, in the second half especially. Are you pretty pleased with where the pass rush is, or are there some elements of it you'd like to see get better?
It's hot and cold. I mean, we've had some moments where the four-man rush has been getting there, and they've been doing a great job pressuring the quarterback. I mean, I know, Fitz got hit a lot yesterday, which was cool for us. Not for him, but it was cool for us. But then there were times when we were stymied. Again, remember, they put 28 points up on the board, so they did a lot of good things right. But again, they are the number one offense in the league. But then there were times when Eric called pressures, and those things opened up a couple of rush lanes for us. So I thought we had a good balance. I also know that, the coverage was pretty doggone good. James Bradbury played lights out. I thought the secondary was solid, but, really appreciate the way James played with making the plays that he did. There were a lot of good things as far as the pass rush and the coverage go together. But there are also a couple of things that I think we can get better at because we missed a couple opportunities to get off the field on 3rd and 4th down.
What do you think the key is going forward and kind of getting a little bit more consistency in that rush?
Well, I think the biggest thing really is just these guys continuing to work together because we had a couple of line stunts when you get a chance to watch it that we came just a step late. And if we could get a little bit more push on the inside and the looper come a little bit tighter, instead of having to bubble a little bit, we get to the quarterback. Or if we hit the lane, we hit the creases. If we can hit the creases sooner, our timing has to be a little bit better, and that's just continued to work. I mean, we're trying to rotate a group of guys. We're trying to get comfortable with the way we pressure, and I think we're still kind of learning that.
Coach Pep doing out there that may be going unnoticed right now?
Knocking the ball down, getting pushed from where he's at. When a quarterback can't step comfortably one way or the other, he's got to hold the ball a little bit longer. I think, again, his presence of being able to push that side, the quarterback's throwing hand, his presence, getting in the quarterback's vision could also influence some of those things as well, his decision making.
Something that seems to be particularly a talent of Norv's with the experience that he has is kind of seeing both the big picture and the game by game at the same time. It seems like some of the things he does in earlier games set up things he can do in later games.
Probably. I mean, and again, you do things not just for the moment, but you do them for the future as well. So, and I think really good play callers do that. They have enough foresight to think about what's coming next. And that was one of the things that I was always impressed with when I was with Coach in San Diego was how he always seemed to be a play call ahead, which I always thought was impressive. And just listening to the way he did things, when I was there and listening to him now, is, like I said, it's impressive.
DJ Moore was on the field a lot yesterday, more than Devin Funchess. How much of that was scheme and situation, and how much was just kind of his growth throughout the season?
I think it's a combination of all those things. And, there are some packages that call for them to be out there together, and some packages call for them to be out there individually without each other. So I think it's all just part of it. I don't think it's anything other than that. We're not purposely looking to diminish Devin's role, obviously, because he's such an impact player for us, making the big catches deep over the middle. I mean, that's what Devin's doing right now. And, he's somebody that they have to account for. And that's why I think a lot of those underneath routes are opening up.
Is this the workload that you envision for Curtis at this point in the season? Obviously, he had the medical issue. And is he still working his way back, or is he back to 100%?
Well, again, I think a lot of it depends on Coach calling the offenses, and whatever those plays are. And then we got to remember, again, the quarterback's got to make the decision. He's the one who delivers the ball. So, a lot of it just hinges on the play calling and then the decisions that are being made out there.
Ron, the past couple of weeks, your corners have matched up pretty well with your opponent's wide receivers. What do you see in as far as your matchup with Pittsburgh's Juju and AB?
I'll tell you what, it's a very talented group that we're going to face. And don't forget what's happening with them running back. Connor's done a great job for them. Their tight ends are dangerous players as well. And, and then, of course, you got Big Ben standing back there, and he's hard to bring down. So this will be a challenge for us, and I do think the matchups will be important. And we'll see how all that fits up for us as far as our game planning is concerned when we finish up the week for Thursday.
Ron, do you have any feel for Torrey and or Eric this week?
No, I will, like I said, like I always told you guys, I'll get an opportunity to visit with RV once we're done. I know that a lot of guys are just getting in. We pushed everything back until 2 p.m., so a lot of guys are just getting up right now, hopefully, after a nice night of rest. And we'll see them, like I said, I'll see them after this.
Is it safe to assume that, just given the short week, that a guy like Matt Khalil would not be a factor this week?
Probably. I mean, the biggest thing obviously will be whatever they tell me when I get a chance to talk to them shortly.
Ron, I know you're busy preparing for Pittsburgh this week, but have you had a chance to talk with David Tepper at all about what this game means to him going back to Pittsburgh and playing there?
It's coming. We'll sit down and talk about it, I promise you. I know he's probably very excited about it because, again, having been part of that organization, a lot of positive things, for him having been part of that organization. But, you know, and I know, you know, with Mr. Tepper, there's going to be a nice conversation, obviously, about how much he'd like to win this.
Anything else? Cool. All right, motion.
All right, cool. Thank you, guys.